All right, well, Bitcoin got a pretty large move to the downside yesterday, about 3.5%, give or take. And we did come down below that last 4 hour higher low that I was talking about. So, yes, we did break the 4 hour uptrend, and that is somewhat significant. But, the higher time frames are always going to be more significant than the time frames below them. And when you zoom out, we are still in a daily uptrend. Starting from this anomaly in the daily uptrend where we, kind of broke lows and then went on to put in new highs anyway, we still have this daily uptrend where the last higher low, actually depending on how you look at it, I know some people don't count SFPs as a break in market structure. So, depending on how you look at this may be the last higher low in the daily uptrend where we just went on to put in a higher high after that. And, we can come all the way down to here and still put in a higher low. Or if you, count the SFP, which I usually do, if price made a higher high, then, I count it as a higher high. Then this wick down here would be the last higher low. And, they're still pretty similar. Honestly, either one of those lows is probably going to be significant because, people will probably be looking at both of them as the last higher low on the daily. But, yeah, basically, unless price comes down to close below these levels, we are still in a daily uptrend. Plus, we also just broke bearish market structure on the weekly. So, the 4 hour break in market structure may kind of ruin our chances of putting in higher highs like soon, maybe this week, like I was thinking. It could just mean we have to, go on a retracement, come back down to some key support inside of this range. And ideally, if you are bullish on Bitcoin, we would not want to break these lows down here. So, even if we break this low right here, I will still probably be watching this low because I'm sure a lot of people will consider this last higher low. And so, maybe we just SFP this first low and, reclaim it, still put in a higher low to this one. But now I kind of want to go through and do some TA on this little range and mark out some of the key support that we can be looking at. And the first thing I marked out was this weekly level. We formed a weekly level of support here. It was already tapped in the next candle, so it's not an untapped weekly, but still, I think this will be a significant weekly level of support. Just considering it's like the only weekly level of support till we get all the way down here. And it is right around the point of control of this range as well. So even though it is already tapped, I think this will be significant. And on the daily time frame, we also have a daily level of support there, right around there as well. It's also been tapped. So I'm not going to mark it out, I just know that there's a daily level right below the weekly as well. But there is an untapped daily level right below this higher low here. So, potentially we could look for an SFP into that daily level. That could, go along with the theory of us maybe SFPing this first low. So, no matter what way you look at it, we either put in a higher low here or we, SFP'd the last market structure point. So then we may expect to move to the highs. Whatever way you look at it, that would probably be bullish. And next, I'll mark out some of the NDPOCs that we have in that range. So we got one right there and one right there. And there is also an NDPOC below this low as well. So maybe if we don't see a reaction from the daily level, we can look at this NDPOC. And there is also one right below the weekly level. So that is some more confluence. That's actually probably right on top of the daily level. I'll actually mark that out and check. Yeah, it is right below that daily level too. So I would probably put a box around this whole area and potentially look at that for support if we fall below the value area high of this range. I will also pull a fib here and look for confluence with that. And looks like that golden pocket has some pretty nice confluence with this box. You could extend the box upward, I guess. This is kind of turning into a large box here, though. The 0.65 is right on top of the point of control, though, so maybe I would prefer for us to come down to at least the 0.65 And maybe you can even look at this confluence with the NDPOC and the 618. I don't usually split a golden pocket up into two levels like this, but hey, we can try it. And I'll also adjust this fib to that low. And the 786 is also right around the point of control and the weekly level. So I'm really liking this zone of confluence here. We can add golden pocket and 786 into that. So this is, a lot of confluence inside this zone, and I like the fact that it is around the point of control of this range. Also, you can just see this is like the zone with the most volume. So this box is looking nice. If we lose this value area high, like I said, that is also a zone I was watching. We have that golden pocket there as well. And this was also just previous resistance inside this range. So it would be nice for us to come down and test that now for support. I'd say I would prefer for us to see a bounce from this zone and flip this resistance into support. But if we fall down into this range again, there are some levels of confluence here before we break that weekly structure. And even if we start a daily downtrend here, number one, we broke daily structure back here, and that did nothing. We didn't start a downtrend. We only put in a lower low, this low, and then we put in higher highs. So we could do the same thing again. And also, the weekly time frame is more significant than the daily. So, the bullish break in weekly market structure is, probably going to outweigh the daily bearish break in structure if we get that. And, even if we do break daily structure, we still have very significant support that we may have to test below us, like this 25K area, the, very significant resistance that we had all throughout. Let's see, when did we enter this range? In June 2022 through March of 2023. This was, the highs of the range. We also, found support on this level back here. So maybe we come down to test that level for support. I really wouldn't start getting worried until we either fall back down into this range, and especially if we fall back down below the value area high of this range, then, you'd probably have to be looking at the last weekly high or low and hope that we don't break that. For right now, we are still technically in a daily uptrend, and, I think a test of some of this support down here and us holding this support would be pretty bullish. I think that could be cause for us to continue this daily uptrend. So I would be watching all three of those zones. You could also watch the value area low in the 786. Also, the 886 of this fib is right around the untapped daily and the NDPOC. So potential to SFP into this zone of confluence and see if we can reclaim this low. So those will be the areas I'm watching inside this range. Now, looking at market Cipher, daily momentum and money flow seems to be getting a pretty sharp turn to the downside, or at least it looks like it could start to get a sharp turn to the downside the way that it's rolling over like this, as opposed to the way this wave looks where it's kind of like slowly descending. This one looks like it is kind of turning over more sharply, so that is not looking very good. Looking at the 12-hour, same kind of thing, 12 hours turning down pretty sharply, and money flow is depleting as well, getting decently close to the zero line. Pretty much same story on the 8-hour. In fact, we already saw that drastic drop on the 8-hour, but on the 4-hour, we have now printed a BitBoy green dot. This 4-hour wave is oversold, and money flow is still in the green on the 4-hour. We also do potentially have a hidden divergence forming here where price makes a higher low, but momentum makes a lower low. And, that basically shows that there was more selling pressure here as opposed to back here, yet price is still making higher lows. It's a potential sign of continuation for the uptrend. But looking at the 1 hour, does kind of seem like we have more downside potential. Money flow continuing to put in lower lows. The VWAP is curling back over. So, we may see a test of this first level of support pretty soon here. Same thing on the 24-minute money flow, making lower lows. 12-minute money flow is kind of curling back over to the downside. It was on a little uptrend here, but not looking super convincing right now, the way it's curling back over. So I would not be surprised if we see another move to the downside soon. I am long here. I longed this last SFP of the lows. We actually got two SFPs here, first of this low and then of this low, and I longed both of these. This one I closed out at a break even, and this one right now I think I'll probably put my stop loss to my entry because it is below the golden pocket and the value area low, because it definitely seems like price may be curling back to the downside here. But other than that, I will be, probably just waiting for those levels to the downside.